But when I finally checked, I saw the 4 missed calls, and my heart sank. I knew exactly who it was and what she was calling to tell me, and her words hit me like a punch in the gut. It was my mom's care nurse. I'm sorry to inform you, but your mom has passed away. Would you like to see her one last time? I was shocked by the question. I didn't know how to answer that. Is that how I want to remember my mom? Do I want that image seared in my mind forever? I didn't know. Plus, this was the last thing I ever expected, given where I was. Disneyland. The irony, right? There I was outside the Disney Princess stage show, and I was surrounded by people who are laughing and smiling. They're caught up in the magic of the happiest place on earth, while I was drowning in grief and in guilt. I should have been there with her, not here, enjoying myself. I was at a loss, and I felt an emptiness that even Disneyland's magic couldn't touch. And all I could think about was my mom in that hospital room alone. My mom had been my anchor my entire life. She was a single mom, an immigrant from Mexico with a 6th grade education, and she didn't speak English. Growing up, I watched her work menial jobs while she struggled with diabetes, osteoporosis, breast cancer, a stroke, Parkinson's disease. It was a lot. And yet I watched her do it with an extraordinary amount of grace and faith, and not ever a complaint, and I mean never. In the weeks that followed her death, I was grieving, of course. I was sad, I was overwhelmed, and as a new mom myself, the reality began to dawn on me. How was I going to navigate motherhood without her? Who was going to teach me the things only she knew how to do? And who was going to be my kids' grandma? I realized that I needed help, but not the kind of help that comes from parenting books or a list of do's and don'ts of being a good mom. And sure, those things were good, and they helped me navigate nap schedules and feeding routines, but they didn't capture the real struggle, which was the internal struggle of my many mom emotions. And so in my desperation, I did 2 things that were way out of my comfort zone. One is I admitted I needed help, and 2 is I joined a support group. And it was there in that circle with those strangers where I decided, I'm going to be brutally honest with all the things that I'm feeling inside, something that I was not used to doing, by the way. And I said to myself, I'm going to let down my walls. I'm going to admit that I am struggling and that I don't have it all together this time. I was real and I was honest, so much so that it made me uncomfortable. And I shared with them, I'm overwhelmed. I'm doubting my abilities as a mom. And I'm still feeling guilty for not being there with her. And so as I'm looking around, unsure how they're going to respond, do you know what happened? Instead of judgment, I was met with so much compassion, encouragement, love, kindness, support. Wow, this was a turning point for me, because what I saw in that moment and what I realized is this is what I've been needing all along, is people to just feel with me and not try to fix me. So after that, I joined every support group that would take me. Mom groups and church groups and school groups. I joined a Bible study. I joined the choir. I had no business singing in the choir, but I did it anyways. And all of those women from all of those groups, they became my lifeline. We did life together. We shared our stories. We shared our lives. We shared the things that we were going through, the struggle, the doubts. And I felt less alone. They normalized what I was going through and feeling. They validated it. And the thing was that the more that they shared, the more compassionate that I started to become. And then the more connected I started to become, and not just to them, but to our shared humanity. Because I realized, you know what, we're all struggling in some way, and it felt so good to be a part of a group where I could encourage them and they could encourage me in return. So I invite you, step outside your comfort zone. If you need support, seek it. Be honest with your emotions. I believe that our emotions are really the most honest thing about us. They don't lie. And they deserve to be heard, understood, and embraced. So I encourage everyone, you and me both, let's be real with how we feel so we can heal in the arms of a loving community.